the people come from the land itself. And so there's something to do here with like listening to land. You know, I was just talking about this the other day. This is one of the things that comes up in readings all the time is people are like all up in their heads and they're like feeling a lot of feelings and don't know what's going on. And so I like to recommend a journaling practice, but ain't nobody doing that shit. Like the idea of, and I know you are one person in the audience is like, "No, I like my journal," and I love that. Yeah. But by and large, motherfuckers are not doing that shit. No matter how cute the journal is and how nice the pen is, and all, like I just cannot be bothered when I have Instagram to scroll through or some shit like this, you know. Yeah. And so one of the things that I frequently recommend to those folks is walking around in the park. And I recommend, I think it is very useful to talk to yourself in the park. Work the shit out. Say the thing out loud. Don't just be in your head about it. Don't just like be quiet. Say the thing out loud. When you say the thing out loud, then what I find very frequently is that trees have very, very good ideas. Trees are very happy to supply you with some ideas. And the real great thing about trees is that they will let you think that was your idea. They don't care at all. That's all you. Go ahead, do you. Just maybe we just float this one. And then you're like, aha, eureka, I found it. Wow. Oh my goodness. I cannot believe what a glorious genius I am. I figured it out. And the tree's like, go ahead and go do that then.
Yeah. And then sometimes you end up doing stuff and you're like, oh shit, the tree wanted me to do that. That was
sure.
Oh man, right. I just served this tree.
So it's good to, so if we're like in that place where it's like, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build a connection. I'm trying to build a tradition in this locally, geographically based, place-based situation, trying to connect with spirits. Then it's very good to listen in such a way where you can recognize which thoughts are mine and which thoughts belong to the sycamores.
Yeah, I've talked about this a little bit to some folks. I don't know lose track of where I tell which stories. But when I was going through my divorce, Jess Waters suggested to me that I find a desire teacher, right? Like that I find a non-human person to help me understand what my true desires were and like sit with this. Mm-hmm. And the person that came forward was a particular beech tree that wanted to teach me. And it's an interesting beech because at the time, it's now changed in shape, so it has a different name now. But at the time, we called it the hiding tree because it was a beech tree where all the leaves came down, all the branches came down like willows, and then on the inside there was a whole separate space with this giant trunk. And like many beaches, it was carved in because, of course, the skin can handle it, you know. And this was a place on Vassar's campus where, like, for 60, 70 years, couples had come to have sex. Do you know what I mean? Like, this was a sex tree, right? And I would go and I would sit with the tree, usually pick some daylight hours so as to not interrupt people who might be having other reasons for being there. But I would literally just hold the branch, like one of the down branches. I would like holding the hand of a bigger, important person, right? And I would sit and I would just meditate and talk with the tree about what are my desires? What do I need to know? What is desire? How do I even understand what this is? Right? Beech trees have desires. You know what I mean? Like even just on a very like clear method, they want to propagate, they want to spread their stuff. They talk to other beech trees, they organize forests, they talk to other trees inside the forest. They will kill oak trees. Like they have a sort of like ongoing war with oak trees. They don't like them and they fucking choke them out, you know? Okay. They have a way of being that is a beech way of being, and sitting with that tree as opposed to like, you know, this instinct to be like, my desire animal is a tiger, you know? And you're like, what the fuck do you know about tigers? You know what I mean? Like for real, sure. Like you go sit with tigers, you don't, you know. No. But being able to do exactly what you're talking about, to sit with this tree, I mean, it rewired me, basically. Like it's one of my true teachers. And so my son knows this, but if I were teaching witchcraft, right? one of the things I would say is both, hey, you should learn this thing Jess said about like getting a desired teacher, right? But also like, this is one of mine. I can take you to the tree to see the tree and sit with it if you want to. I can introduce you to the same spirit, unfortunately, for that particular purpose, the tree ended up getting broken in a storm, and now her heart is wide open. So it's a whole different. She offers different teaching now, But anyway, like it's a specific land spirit. It's not like a romanticized land spirit. It's like, no, it's that tree right there. That's who you can talk to.
Yeah. So it's worth listening deeply, quietly, and it's worth having an open mind such that you could hear the voice of the tree calling you if an individual voice were to come forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's an important thing to remember for our toolkit when we're thinking about how to generate traditions that are better moving forward.
And your own devotion. I think devotion is a really great creator of tradition. I went there every day, like it was a time where that was, I sat with my teacher until she was done teaching me and wanted me to move on to other stuff. Right. Like in the Tai Chi tradition, I spent a lot of time with my teacher before he was like, you're good, go do your own thing. So, practices of habit and devotion, I think, are really important, not just for your own building, but also for what you can offer later on.
And consistency goes a really long way in like every regard. Like,
yeah, it really does.
First time, nobody gets anything right the first time. I guess the chances are not zero, but they are close enough that you should assume that it's zero. And you've got to do it a lot of times. You got to spend the time. That's part of the reason why even me and you continue to have these podcast conversations and conversations outside of the podcast and stuff, because we're practicing in some ways,
I really love Gordon. I think one of the best things Gordon put in my head was, we're not trying to be right. We're trying to be less wrong.
Yeah. For real,
and like that is a really great mantra to do. And I think that's what we're trying to do with talking stuff out. And sometimes if people hear us go over the same thing, it's because we're trying to fucking work out something here. It's not like,
absolutely.
I do actually get mad sometimes when you get to a podcast, people are like, well, settled. And I'm like, no, it fucking isn't.
Yeah.
Like, like you did an hour and a half, it's done, no.
Right, for sure. Yeah, this is why I always say like no answers, only questions, right?
Yeah.
Because a question is always it's open, there's always the thread to follow. There's always something to like move a little further forward, and then every time you've got an open question, then there are 7 open questions that come from that, and then there are more open questions that come from those, and whereas an answer is a dead end, and you just get stopped, and it's like the answer is blank, and that is simply not where we live at.
It's true. Questions are the answer.
Okay, sure.
Not gonna bite on that one.
I'm not gonna bite. No,
because I bite on that particular trap.
Yeah. No, yeah, I don't like it. You miss me with that. But speaking of questions, we did have a listener write in for a question for our divination and geomancy sesh here. Would you like to read for Helen?